Are you looking to live life on your own terms? Well, you know what? You've come to the right place. I wrote the book on it. We're going to go through and we'll talk about it. When we can live life on our terms, on a holistic level, taking into account not just our business lives, but also our health, all of our relationships, from friends, family, partners, the world changes. When it comes to living life on your own terms, there's 5 basic steps that we go through and that I suggest everybody does. And the great thing is, man, it has never been easier, but it does take some effort. So when we start thinking about what are those 5 steps, the first is we have to assess. We have to define where we are. We have to stabilize and assess where we are so that A, we understand where we're starting from so we can figure out where we want to go. Second, it's going to be about changing your mindset, letting go of other people's insecurities and their beliefs. Third, defining clearly where it is you want to go. What does amazing look like? And then how can we dream and dream big? Then the dreaming big. And then the next piece is going to be making a plan. Once we make that plan, how do we create the strategies and processes that I've worked with hundreds of business owners around the world on? And then lastly, how is it we dive in with ruthless but consistent accountability? So let's start off with the first step. First is the assessment. And with this, you're welcome to go to our website, lifeon-yourterms.com, and check out the tool that we have. It's about 2/3 of the way down on the homepage, called the Balance Wheel. Doesn't cost you anything, no expectations. It takes about 6 minutes, and it'll give you a snapshot, a holistic assessment of where you're starting from, looking at it in 4 different quadrants. It's going to be around your professional area, your professional life. But that's not just the only important thing. Resources, how are we doing with our time, our talent, and our treasure? Most people candidly stink when it comes to time. Those 2 things are important, and how a lot of old guys like me would assess and define what life on your terms looks like is, oh, well, that's successful. Yeah, but what if it comes at the expense of your relationships? So that's why we include relationships, your family, your friends, and your partner. Making sure that those are healthy and strong is absolutely critical. And then the last quadrant is going to be around our health, our physical, our mental, and our spiritual. Times are changing, and we really have to make sure we're addressing all of those. We have to look at all of those together in an integrated way that we get to define what does success look like. Now, the people who helped me, some folks from Gallup, helped me write those questions initially. And those questions within the balance wheel are specifically designed to be a little ambiguous based on your perception of what success looks like then. But this way gives you a start of where we are. So boom, we can assess and we can start to stabilize. This understands, all right, here's where we are. How can we do a few little things to get stronger and better in these areas? Number 1. The second is going to be having a hard conversation with yourself and embracing that maybe your version of success is different than what a lot of the outside pressures in your life have been. And this is where it's going to be adjusting your mindset. So what I mean specifically with this is it may come from parents or peers that have had a scarcity mindset. Now, don't get me wrong, there isn't a parent on the planet that says, oh, I hope that my kid screws up. But your parents are going to be typically comfortable with a certain parameters or structures. That's why a lot of parents say, no, kid, just go to college and get a good degree. I want you to have something to fall back on. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you go get a degree and you end up then getting a job because you happen to fall into it, because it's safe and it makes your parents better, but you're a miserable bastard at it, then you're losing. You will not be living life on your own terms. So this is where if you can first off say, okay, look, I love my parents, I love friends and all that, but maybe we let go of that. Maybe you're influenced dramatically by a lot of the social platforms, everybody's highlight reel on Facebook and TikTok and everything else. Understanding that you can let go of those in so many different ways and not buy into what everybody else was saying. Candidly, where this program started, I had a hip and a knee replaced. Since my youth, I earned every bit of it. But long story short is I couldn't do much. And I found myself stuck on the couch, baked down Oxycontin, which not my thing, and I couldn't even read. And I'm used to going 100 miles an hour. I have multiple businesses. And here I am watching TV and I'm like, okay, well, so I discovered what a Kardashian was. And oh my God, I gotta tell you, this scared the pants off me. Now, if you're not familiar with this franchise, it's a group of very beautiful people that appear to have all the financial trimmings. They have power, they have big relationships, but it seems like most of the time they're just bitching and complaining. And I felt really uncomfortable when I realized that I was measuring my success in a similar way to the way the Kardashians were. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my BMWs and multiple homes and things. I love that. And that's important, but it's not the only way to measure success. So the second component is going to be figuring out how can you look at success differently based on your terms, but you have to define that. So you take that assessment, and then the next step, once you've had that assessment, have that open mind, start considering what would amazing look like for each one of those slices of the pie. What would it look like for relationships with friends, with your partner, what would your health, what would unbelievable in health look like? What would unbelievable treasure look like? And what could it happen, what's possible in, say, the next 12 months? Now, when we work with people and individuals in this, and I've got a whole bunch of coaches that we work with, they actually figure out what's the right coach for you, who are you looking to work with, and where are we going, and who's going to be your best fit. Maybe it's I work with high-level CEOs and business owners who've achieved more than they ever thought possible, and they're not necessarily very happy. Fair enough. We have people I have a gal who's one of the best runners, ultra runners in the world, and a mom. She works great with moms and people who want to do more health focus. We've got a gal who's been through unbelievable physical challenges, and she's been the CEO of a big organization. Her transitions are amazing. My wife, Rika, she does couples. We've got a young man who just graduated college, and he's helping people figure out what's their dream job. But the point is find that right person if you're looking for somebody, or you're welcome to take the online course. But the point, once we start to figure these things out, they're going to help you to define where do you want to go? What does amazing look like? And then we actually have a few extra tools on how to dream, and how to dream really big. Now, if you're younger, you may say, dude, dreaming's not a problem. I can dream all day long. But I can tell you that for a lot of the older folks, there's people out there who suddenly find themselves empty nest. They're like, I don't have a clue what I want to do. And they're scared to death, and they're embarrassed to say it. So giving them the safety and permission to figure out how to look at that differently can really help. It allows people to dream big and look at things in a very different way. Now, the next step then is once we start to dream, we figure out where we want. So we've stabilized, done our assessment, we've visualized, we're starting to dream and figure out where we want to go. Then we want to go through and create a strategic plan, a roadmap on how we're going to get there. And that's something that I have 30 years experience helping my own businesses as well as individual businesses all over the world build strategies and achieve more than they ever thought possible. But it comes down to creating clear mechanics and structures on how we do that. Creating a visualization, defining our values, knowing what is our goals for this year, then what are the 90-day objectives we're going to go after, how are we going to handle those, how do we break all that down? So then we build this strategy, and once we start having the strategy, this starts to work, okay. Now, the fact that you've been able to invest the time and energy to think this way, you're far ahead of everybody else, most everybody else. But the real juice for the squeeze comes down to when you can ruthlessly, but compassionately, hold yourself or work with others that are going to help hold you accountable. And with that, we teach you processes and ways that you can do that. Now, if you'd like to learn more about this, you're more than welcome to please reach out to us at lifeon-yourterms.com. If you have any questions, again, if you want to use the balance wheel, have at it. But it's lifeon-yourterms.com. And if you found value in this, please subscribe to this channel, share it, link it, whatever makes you happy. But if you have questions, reach out. We look forward to hearing from you. And man, I can't tell you how excited I am for you when you go out and start living life truly on your own terms. Keep smiling.